We ain't doing it today. What's going on? Everybody out there, Eagles fans checking us out live, and everybody watching the replay. As usual, it's your boy Cool McCain. And as always, or hopefully always moving forward to this side, I have my boy Mo. Mo, tell him who you are.
Mojo, your hometown favorite. Fly Eagles fly. I'm here for the long haul.
And also, who is with me every week.
I'm Wyatt from Squad Pod Sports and Waves 5 Media. Here's always ready to talk about some birds.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So y'all know the routine by now. If it's your first time watching, basically, man, we're gonna talk Eagles. But first, we're gonna remind everybody who we are, because that's how we do it. It's good to hear the intro, get you a little hyped up. Shout out to Go Gadgets for allowing us to use that. You know what I'm saying? Very inspirational, very Philly.
No one
Also
likes
want
us.
to
We
shout
don't
out
care.
exactly. I also want to shout out the two gentlemen that's on the show with me, man. This is a little different from the original idea for the show, but I think this is new and improved. We're gonna do some things. Y'all want to hop along for the ride? Trust me. Now to start things out, man, OTAs. We gotta talk OTAs. Not a lot of actual time on the field, but enough for us to kind of get some ideas of how things are looking for certain players that we have questions about, rookie players that we need to step up like a Jalen Hurts, like the wide receiver group, in particular Devontae Smith is somebody we really expect to make a lot of information from press conferences. So, Wyatt, what stood out to you from what you were able to read and see about OTAs?
You want to go first, Mo? Or
Oh no, you go ahead. I'm getting situated
from
here.
the main thing I've been seeing from OTAs here is how good Jalen Hurts has looked. Apparently, he's been throwing darts out here. He's been throwing like 50-yard bombs on regular basis to Devontae, to Quez. Apparently, they're saying the chemistry needs to get a little bit more work between him and AJ. Getting him into the system from what I've been seeing. But Jalen Hurts, they're saying his actual technique in the pocket, his throwing motions crisper from what Sirianni's saying. He's getting his reads a little faster. He's getting the ball out of his hands faster. So it seems like he really has developed here this offseason, and he's looking great. I mean, it's just OTAs, but it's a good sneak peek of what's to come, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm gonna go ahead and hop on, and I'll let Mo talk about his two things. I've been very interested in. Actually, th- the fact that we now found out that when all the play calling started to change, we started to get more diversity of plays. It
Yeah.
wasn't Nick Sirianni. It was
No.
Shane Steichen. It was
Yeah.
our offensive coordinator actually calling plays that saved our season last year, and he will be the full time play caller this year. So for the offense, all the players that were there last year, you're going to have continuity for the first time in a few years for the Eagles. You're going to have the same guy, same coordinator, same coaching staff for the most part, and players. And the last years that they've been able to have those OTAs, we talk about a lot that 7 on 7, it's this, it's that, it's not the same. One thing that we have also heard from several people, including AJ Brown and some of the other offensive players, is that there's one guy out there that's catching everything that comes his way. And according to AJ Brown and others, he can run every route in the route tree and he gobbles up the balls like they pellets and he's Pac-Man. And that's going to be Devontae Smith. So
Yeah.
big shouts to Devontae for hopefully him and Jalen. We need that connection. And we also need them to both take the next step and include AJ Brown in that triumvirate.
Yeah.
And that's going to be dangerous by itself. More important news, Jalen Rieger does not have the number 3 spot locked up by any means. So you got guys like, Zach Pascal that has a chance for that position, possibly Quez Watkins. So there's a little bit of a fight for who's going to be that number 3 receiver. I'm interested to see who wins that throughout training camp. That's going to be one of the stories because you're going to have two really good, I think, outside receivers. When we go to 3 and 4 receiver sets, who's going to be the other 2 receivers on the field, or the other receiver in 3 receiver sets? That's going to be important because if it does happen to be Rigor, that he's gotten over whatever these mental things is that has him dropping everything and running around like he's got hands of steel, um, cheat on every play. The third thing for me is the defense. We're seeing Jordan Davis, big man, get out there and just do what he does. We're seeing
Hmm.
battles between Bradbury and Smith. We're seeing battles between Slay and Brown. Slay and Smith, Bradbury and Brown. So we're seeing them get into each other. We're seeing them cover each other. We're seeing them kind of start that rivalry. And I think it's going to be great. Iron's going to sharpen iron. We're going to have 2 really good
Yeah.
receivers going against 2 really good cornerbacks. You can switch them so both cornerbacks get reps with the different types of receivers. AJ Brown's more the big guy. He's making the catches. He's going to high point in the ball, overthrow me if anything. Let me go get it, or if I can't get it, I can't get it. Devontae Smith is more to put the ball on me and let me make a play. Let me move with it quick. So
Yeah.
being able to work against those 2 different types of receivers is going to be great for our corners. And for the first time in a long time, we have 2 really solid starting cornerbacks. So that's the 3 things for me. What about you, Mo?
Yeah, that's pretty huge. To have that level of player on both sides of the ball, get to practice with each other every week, in and out. It gets them more game ready,
Mm-hmm.
And with the abbreviated OTAs, you're keeping everybody in game shape, but not overworking anybody, so you're getting these knick-knack injuries or anything like that. So I think that's important. But the biggest takeaway so far, obviously, Hurts and Smith, they're getting some type of connection that can probably turn into something real special this year. Even Brown is like, he's diverting to Smith, like, yeah, he's going to be the one eating and eating and eating. It's exciting to see what
Yeah.
they look like week one.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw the video that came out, I think today from practice. It was Jalen launching one to Miles Sanders down like the left sideline there. It was a pretty nice pass. So maybe it'll be cool to see if they incorporate Miles Sanders into the pass game a little bit more. Because we saw what he can do, but we also saw how bad it can turn as well, with some drops. But he has made some big plays in the pass game. Maybe they're looking for him to do that here, or Kenny Gainwell.
Yeah, Gainwell played a big role in the passing game last year. I thought he really showed up a lot, and just getting the ball out. screens, whatever, get him out of the backfield, and you can throw him the ball. Sanders, oh boy, still a big if. It was like, what
Yeah.
week?
Hey,
How
what?
many weeks are we
Don't
gonna
give
have
him.
you?
Don't give him too much yet, Mo. Remember, that's what we're talking about later. Don't give him too much yet.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't give him too much.
Give him a little bit at a
Now,
time.
yes. What I've one of the things that's been interesting to me from Sirianni, Steichen, all the coordinators, the position coaches, as well as Hertz, and some of the wide receivers and things, is a lot of their conversations have been about the mental reps, the prep, the being on the same page, the camaraderie, the brotherhood. Saw an
Yeah.
interview that, a couple of interviews that Hertz did, a couple of press conferences, let me say, and he talked about all the things that were happening in Philadelphia. So big ups to him for being, you know, someone that kind of has the heartbeat of the city and understands what's going on and wants to be a positive force in that, for the kids. So big ups to him for that. But the fact that he's been watching film, he's been talking to Sirianni a lot of nights. Sirianni's been talking to him and Minshew. Um, they've kind of got everything straightened out with Sirianni doing what I said he should have did last year, what I've talked about on the show before we knew Steichen was the one that was calling the plays today. If you see something that you feel like, no, we need to run this or we need to do this instead, you take your authority as the head coach and you interject. But day to days, getting all this stuff ready, you allow
Yeah.
someone else to do that so you can focus on what's important. The most important thing when you are the head coach is the team. This gives you a chance to step back, watch the defense, watch the special teams, and watch the offense and not be so involved with just one piece. I think he owes I owe Sirianni a level of respect for recognizing that and making that change. So I want to shout him out for
Yeah.
that. But then Hertz has been in that film room, man, absorbing everything. He's been in there with AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goddard, the running backs. Like he's in there, like he's there. That's where he's living. You know, he's talking to the head coach, he's talking to his OC, he's doing all the things, and they basically said we're putting him in a position. We see the improvement right now. We just want it to continue so he can be our guy. So
Yeah.
it's up to him to take this and run with it. It's there. It's up to him to do something with it. I hope he will. He has the weapons. He has the consistency for the first time in a while. So it's just a matter of you taking everything that's there, put it together. That work in the film room, the off season where he went around, worked with gurus, got himself in better football shape. They were saying he looked like he was smaller. He does look smaller, and he says he weighs the same thing, which makes me feel like maybe he's were able to drop a little weight, put on some muscle, still stay at the same weight, which is going to be good
Yeah.
for him long term, as well as his durability. So, any other thoughts that you guys have in regards to OTAs or anything from that?
Well, I mean, just to add on to what you're saying, I think that's something that gets overlooked a lot by not just the Philly fan base, but the media in general, is just how much work he puts in. His work, I've noticed that, since day one when he came, and not only just, being a backup, but when he became the starter, you see the work ethic that he has. I know it's cliche, but it seems like he is that dude that's in there first in, last one out every day. And that's exactly what you want out of your quarterback. And he's putting himself in, not only is the team putting him in the best position to succeed, he's putting himself in the best position to succeed by doing all this extra stuff. And I hope it translates to the football field, man. And it seems like it's going to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, 100% agree, man. There's so much to talk about with OTAs, but we have weeks coming, press conferences, so we have plenty of time to talk about everything. So we're gonna step back from it a little bit, but I do have to end by saying the thing that I love the most about this camaraderie. I alluded to this earlier, but I didn't talk about it. They've been doing, going bowling together, lots of conversations. They went to one of the playoff games together. They just been hanging out. They've been doing stuff together. They've been volunteering together. They've been doing a lot of things.
Yeah.
And starts with Jalen, starts with Sirianni, starts with Lurie as well. So Jeff Lurie's been part of a lot of this as well. So just
Hmm.
building that camaraderie among the team, that we're all in this together. It's my brothers. I want to fight for them and not just for me. And that's something you need to go through a football season and try to do what we want to do, and that's something deep in the playoffs at the end of the season. We don't want to be sitting at home when the playoffs start or after round one. We want to go deep in the playoffs. So to do that, you got to have that kind of sell out. Everybody's more like it's about the team and not about me. It's not about my individual numbers or any of that. One other quick thing that Sirianni said in his press conference that stuck out to me was he talked about with Rieger, he's working with him to understand you may only get 2-3 catches a game. You may only get 1 catch a game. You may only get 5 targets a game. We don't know. It's an adjustment from the role he previously had. What that tells me is finally someone sees what I see. This is not a guy that you want to throw out there and try to make a target from a lot of the game. He can be explosive with minimal touches. That's what we want
like
if we're going to keep it. Yeah. Greg Ward is more of a, the only difference to me is Greg Ward can actually catch the ball. He doesn't have the speed that Rigger has by far. But
that's true.
I think he has a lot better hands. It's just my thought. But yeah, man, I'm just excited that some of the things I think I've been seeing as a fan, and I've been saying, it sounds like people who make decisions are kind of feeling the same way, at least to an extent. So I don't feel like the crazy guy is just, dumping on someone who is not bad, who hasn't played well. But other people see the same thing. And that's great.
I mean, we said it last week. I think this is probably his last chance this year. Just like, even though they're giving him like little portions of these games, like, maybe 5, receptions at all, he has to, make an opportunity out of that. He has to make those 5 catches if they throw his way. He has to make the most of it if he wants to succeed on this team going forward and in the NFL. I'm sure some team will take him if we cut him, but this is probably his last chance with Philly this year.
I think if he has a good game, we trade him.
Yeah, I think the number and quality of other targets, that 5 targets for him is too many. I'm looking more like 2 or 3. The first few weeks. If he's progressed because everybody else is progressing, maybe he's progressing with him. So maybe he's improved. Maybe he borrowed some hands from somebody. Maybe he's got some stickum. But
put some gloves on or something.
5 targets is too many with the level of talent that you also have. On the rest of the team.
Yeah.
5 targets to me. I mean, 1 a quarter to me is almost too much for this guy. I just haven't seen him produce enough, and I still don't know where he came from. So
I can't argue with that. Like I can't argue with that. To me, it's pretty accurate, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, maybe in garbage time. Maybe if we're up like 28-2 or 28-3, then we can get him some time.
Yeah.
Him and Artega Whiteside
trade stock up.
Yeah.
But to speak on the camaraderie thing you're talking about, it was cool seeing all the videos coming out of like Devontae's softball game, where it had all a lot of Eagles players there and just other like his teammates from college. Micah Parsons was there. They're talking shit to him and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it was pretty cool, man. Just seeing all the videos, and then like Hurts hits the walk-off homer there at the very end to win the game. He's like, man, that's a good omen. It's a good omen of things to come here.
We need
get back to all we got is us. That's the play.
We need that. Underdogs, baby. Underdogs. The problem is we need to see ourselves as underdogs. We don't need to see ourselves as we're this great team. We're underdogs.
Yeah.
Nobody respects us. We're underdogs. Let's get back to that.
Keeps them hungry. Yeah, keeps them hungry.
That's when we play the best.
The last thing I had just to mention before you moved on was we talked about him last week. Tyree Jackson apparently showed up. He's not wearing like any type of brace or sleeve on his leg anymore. But they have him on the sidelines. But it seems like he's pretty clear right now.
Oh, good.
Maybe by training camp here, like mandatory, he's going to be good to go, hopefully.
We'll see. The only thing with him is you've already had 2 injuries, brother. If you need to sit down and get yourself together, we don't need
we need you
and
100%.
Miles Sanders over there with the training staff at the season.
Right.
Yeah.
Have him just block it.
Yeah, we don't need street clothes. Jackson is street clothes Sanders. You know what I'm saying? We need uniforms. We don't guys, so we're going to go ahead and make that transition. And we're going to discuss the next 2 games on the schedule. If
Oh
I'm
man.
remembering correctly, the first one is going to be Eagles versus Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
Why? What's
Well,
your thoughts, man?
Man, this one did not go well at all. I mean, they started out okay. I mean, this was the first game without Zach Ertz. He was traded before this game. But that first
Hmm.
drive, I believe we got a touchdown. The run game was working. Kenneth Gainwell got that touchdown. And then after that,
Hmm.
it kind of fell apart for the offense at that point. We were just trying to do whatever we could to string some plays together. That defense, man, was getting tore up for the most part, that majority of the game. We were letting the run all over us. They were, destroying the middle of the field, like we mentioned the past couple games we covered. Pretty much all the stuff we were doing wrong from these past games we talked about, they were present in this one.
the game was horrific. It was painful to watch, painful to rewatch, painful to analyze.
Mm.
I mean, they did anything they wanted to us offensively. Our defense, I don't know what happened. I think they had over 300 yards of offense with like 10 minutes left in the third quarter. It was awful.
Yeah.
There was one point I think Derek Carr had 16 straight completions, and they weren't like 5 yard passes. No, they were 20
Yeah.
yards downfield, and big gashes. And then the run game, the tight ends, the running back, Drake, he was running all over us. It was painful to watch. Seriously.
Yeah,
Um,
their tight end, it wasn't Waller because he was out, but their backup
right.
tight end was scorching us.
Yeah. The backup tight end, I think they had a new coach, right? I think that was about the time that they got their new coach. So I'm like, yeah, this is a game we
Yeah.
can win. It's
Yep.
one of those
Nope.
games that you don't expect to lose. But then, and it'd be different if we went in there and it was a reasonable game and we barely lost, but we can pretty much got our asses handed to us, you know?
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, the couple of the positives, like Avonte Maddox, he had an interception in this game. Hurts had a lot of big runs. He did have a couple of nice passes, but overall the offense just couldn't get anything strung together.
I think Rieger caught the ball or something in that game. He
Yeah,
might have
Rieger
caught
had
it.
a couple of nice plays, and then he got hurt. He was out like the second
That,
half of the game. So was
Didn't Sanders
Miles
get hurt
Sanders, I'm
that
pretty
game?
sure.
Yeah,
yeah,
Sanders got hurt too.
Yeah, this was the and that's the next
of
game
course,
we'll
Sanders
talk
got
about.
hurt.
But yeah, Sanders was hurt, so we got to see Boston Scott a lot in this one. Kenny Gainwell, and then some Jordan Howard, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Foster Moreau is the tight end that you guys are talking about.
Moreau.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, he had
I
six
thought I had his
catches
name.
for
I didn't
60
though.
yards and a touchdown. Brandon Edwards also had a touchdown receiving. Then, of course, Drake and Josh Jacobs both had touchdowns on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Carr had 323 yards. He only had three incomplete passes, and one of them was an interception. So he was 31 to 34. So Carr had a very solid day. Ertz, on the other hand, what's funny is they both had 34 attempts, but Hertz only completed 18 of those 34. Two
Yeah.
touchdowns, no interceptions. Rieger had a touchdown. Boston Scott had one on the ground, and also Gainwell had a touchdown in the receiving. So not a great day, but off the defense, no one really stood out. Maddox had the interception, but there wasn't anyone that you really looked at and said, "Man, they really had a good game." Right? There's some
Right.
people that did okay, but as a group, just not good. Jalen Rieger had two punt returns for 49 yards. Two kick returns, excuse me, and a punt return was only six. I just don't like him back there.
Nah,
Every
not at
time the
all.
ball gets kicked, I get scared because I'm like, he doesn't have hands. I'm sorry, but we
Yeah.
want to put a guy that doesn't have hands to handle kickoffs and punts. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I don't like it. Right.
And he
Yeah,
usually ends up
like
not really gaining anything or losing yards too.
yeah, especially on punts. He does fairly
Hmm.
decent on kickoffs, but punts, he's
Yeah,
terrible.
punts are the worst.
Yeah, I've seen
Yeah,
him at
punt.
times just a catchable, returnable punt, and he just won't even try to catch it because I think he doesn't believe in his own hands.
If
He
he
just has
doesn't
poor
believe in his
decision
hands,
making.
that's a bigger problem than everybody else. If you don't believe in your own hands,
Yeah, he's back there like,
you know
not
what I'm
these
saying?
things again.
No, what am I supposed to
No.
do?
Because, bro, I play basketball. Bro, I can miss like 15 J's in a row, and I still shocked
Right.
that I missed every one of them. So if you can't believe
Yeah.
yourself, bro, that's a
Turn to Nelson
problem.
Aguilar, and then you
I
get
prepared
traded.
him. I
And then,
prepared
like
him
you
to
say,
hit him a
he'll
lot
catch the
mentally.
ball. Even when he does catch the ball, it's like there's nothing on the return. You got a 2 yard return.
Like,
I
what do
don't
I
under,
do
and you
now? I
know,
didn't expect it to make it this far. What do I do
right?
now? Like
Oh
I caught
man,
the
I
ball.
caught it.
He'd be back there like, I caught it.
Wait a minute. Now what do I
Right. By
do?
the time he
Oh,
figures that out,
run!
it's too late.
That's what, yeah.
But yeah, a lot of things killed us. Kenneth Gainwell, he had a fumble in this game. Sirianni went for it on 4th down, I think, a couple times, and he also decided to go for a onside kick coming out of halftime, which is
Oh
like, why
man,
would you do that?
I didn't understand that at all because they were already, running whatever they wanted. So if you're
Yeah,
unsuccessful in that, just like it was, they have the ball over midfield, across midfield. So it just made
yeah,
no sense.
already.
Yeah,
Just give them some more points.
I think once we saw, and there was a point in the season, I think about game 9 or so, but we really saw a lot less going for it on 4th. I think this
Yeah,
is when we really saw Sirianni's hands kind of being off the offense more, which makes sense because some of the things he was doing, I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? What
yeah,
like? There's a lot of times where we lost games because instead of taking a field goal on 4th down, we're trying to store, right? You get the 4th down, you're in field goal range, take the 3 points. If you can get to field goal range every time and make the field goal, you can win some games, right?
hmm
Because
Hmm.
you're hoping at least once or twice you can get in the end zone too. But adding up them threes, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, that's 2 touchdowns. It takes you a little bit
Right.
longer to get there, but the defense is solid. Take the threes. That's why they're there. You don't have to go for it all the time. I understand you're in a situation.
Right.
It may be like right at halftime. You may be pivotal. You down like 14. Like, man, we can't give them the ball back. We can't stop them. We need to try to go for it. But a lot of times it wasn't necessary. We're still going for it on 4th down.
Right.
yeah,
And even
You know,
that
it's,
three, like you say, even that three can change the momentum. If the other
mhm.
team's got all this momentum, they're completing all these passes, they're running the ball on you, passing the ball on you. You get 3 points. It slows everything down. Move the ball downfield. If you got to settle for the three, take the three, and at least get yourself some points on the board. Get some energy in the ranks, so people are ready to come out. Maybe the defense plays a little better after that.
Well, see, too, the thing
yeah,
about it is if you do that, you're still resting your defense, right? If you're
Hmm.
going out there and you have to march down and get the three, your defense has still had a chance to rest. So they can come out with a little bit more fire, a little bit more energy, a little bit more momentum as well. Because they've had a chance to kind of sit on the side, talk, figure out some changes they need to make. So it's important to extend the drives, even if it only ends up in 3, in my opinion.
Yeah.
yeah. And we talked about, the other games we talked about this season. Each game has been kind of every other game. Either the offense has been on, defense has been off, defense has been on, offense has been off. This game, they were both just not
They're
doing
both off.
anything in
Yeah.
this. Yeah, they were
Yeah.
both off in this game. But they
Nobody
they
showed
both
up.
turn it around in the next game. We'll talk about. But yeah, this game, man, it was pretty bad.
And I'll tell you, the
This
game
wasn't
wasn't out of reach at halftime. It wasn't out of reach enough that you come out of halftime and kicking onside, attempting onside kick. That's just
Yeah,
silly.
I mean, we were scoring in the fifth, in the 4th in this game. We scored in the first. We just did nothing in the second and third quarters.
hmm
Right. So imagine if you didn't kick an onside kick, you go ahead, kick it off. Maybe you stop them on that first drive coming back, from halftime. And then
yeah.
that doesn't
Defense
get out of
stops them. You
control.
get some momentum on like the offense comes out with a little juice. Maybe you score
Right.
again. Yeah, they could change everything.
It was definitely unexpected.
Hmm.
Yeah, another game we probably should have won though.
Yeah.
So we were 2 for 3 on 4th downs in this game.
Not bad.
Yeah, but third downs were. But I think the upgrades that we've made to the receiving core as a whole, the year of being the number one that God now has, that that half a season, I mean,
Yeah,
those things are going to be important to not getting in these third and long situations.
Right.
More often than not, which will put us in a position where we should be able to, score more and do some of the things that Philadelphia wants to do. Eagles want to get out. We want to be ahead. We want to be able to put our foot on teams' throats. This is something I talk about all the time with any sport. When you
Yeah.
got the other team down, you put your foot on their throat. The Raiders didn't put their foot on our throat. They let us score like 15 points in the fourth quarter. Had we been more efficient offensively and stopping them defensively, we could have won this game.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's another growing pain. It's a growing pain game. It's a game that you should win that you don't. So you have to ask yourself why you didn't, and you have to go back to the drawing board, and you've got to come out the next week, and somebody's got to pay. I
Yeah.
mean, period.
And you
The
make
only
a
thing is
valid
you
point.
don't want to have. Oh, go ahead.
Those third downs should be more manageable. That you're not getting
No.
yourself in all those, in those fourth down situations. And I think, like you said, with the personnel we have now and that running game that is now, to me, going to be pretty stout, should definitely be more manageable third down. So we're not looking at fourth down.
Yeah, and in this game, you really saw a lot of the mistakes people talk about with Hurts as well, from just leaving people wide open and not going to him, to kind of just checking into his run first, and then just holding onto the ball too long. He had multiple sacks in this game where he just held onto the ball too long and either didn't run or he tried to run and it was a little too late and they caught him. But you saw a lot of these mistakes that he kind of works out going through the rest of the season here. Hopefully they're all, most if not all, cleaned up going into this season. But they were all present in this game.
Yeah, definitely. But speaking of running backs, as
Mm-hmm.
Mojo was, we're going to have that conversation now in regards to the running backs in Philadelphia. So, Mo, you've had a lot to say about running backs tonight. So, sir, how about you lead us off? Let me set you up. Let me set you up. So, the running back current depth chart as of right now, Miles Sanders is your starter. Kenneth Gainwell is your backup. Boston Scott is your third running back. Jason Huntley is your fourth, and Kennedy Brooks is the fifth running back. Somebody we picked up in free agency after this draft. So Mo, talk to us about the running backs. What's your take? We'll start with Miles Sanders.
Miles Sanders. Obviously, he's going to have plenty of opportunity to show who he is, what he can do. He's got the talent. Whether he stays healthy is the big question. It's just a big if. I could see him getting what, 8 games, 9 games out of him. I don't really anticipate too much more than that. I don't know if that's fair to him, or fair to my Eagles.
Ho. Let me stop you right there. Let me stop you right there. So let me say this. I'm gonna let you get back to you, but let me say this. It is fair to him to expect him to only get 8 or 9 games. You know why? Because the other times he's over there in his street clothes.
Yeah,
Or
that's
technically.
worrisome. But I'm not as worried about it because of Gainwell and Scott. They really, to me, showed up while he was out, even when he's in there. So if they can I think Gainwell is actually in a position to have a really good season, probably the most upside out of all the backs, including Sanders. Because if anything does happen to Sanders, he's going to be the guy. And him and Scott working in tandem, but I think they really need to work in tandem even with Sanders in there. He can't be a workhorse back. I don't think he's built for it, unless he's really made some drastic physical changes in the offseason. So I really would like to have, another power back like a Jordan Howard or somebody. I think the rookie, they were saying he might, be able to fill that role, but they're not obviously not going to throw him out there week
If
one,
he makes the
giving him
team.
10, 12 touches. That's it, right? If he makes the team. If he doesn't make the team, I'd like to see some way that they get another power back. I think it's necessary with the propensity that they run the ball at, and to alleviate some of that weight off of Miles Sanders because he's more of a finesse runner. I don't think he's a power runner. You did see in that game we were just talking about, though, early in the game, he had a couple of really nice runs where he made his decision quick and hit it. And it's like, okay, that's what we want to see consistently. that's the only problem right there is the consistency, and that's where I think Gainwell is going to really eat this year in the running game.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you said it perfectly, man. I think because this is going into Sanders' last year on his deal, this is his contract year. So whether, even if he is healthy, if he doesn't perform, he's probably gone after this year. And then we'll probably be, Kenny Gainwell coming in, filling that role. Um, I don't like seeing Jordan Howard not on this list. I
Me either.
probably expect them to bring him on the practice squad, but man, at this point, I feel like he deserves a roster spot. At this point, he's been playing great whenever they use him, and I think what you're saying, they need a running back tandem. That's what led us to a Super Bowl in 2017. You had LeGarrette Blount, and you also had Jay Ajayi in there. I think Miles Sanders paired up with Jordan Howard would be a great tandem to keep using. Use like Miles Sanders, like in the middle of the field or whatever, and then just use Howard there right on the goal line or whatever, and just bust it through.
Yeah.
Or on like third down situations or something. But I like Boston Scott, man. I really don't have anything bad to say about him. I mean, he's been very serviceable. He's been all reliable for us. He has the speed. He has the quickness. He's the giant killer. There's really not much to say about him that hasn't been said at this point. But yeah, the key with Miles Sanders is just staying healthy and then staying consistent. And what Mo was saying, if you find the hole, just hit it, man. You can't sit there and second guess yourself. We've seen that too many times with him.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I said a lot last year. Oh, why are they running Miles Sanders at the beginning of the year? He needs to get more carries. And he gets out there, gets hurt. So I think as a coaching staff, right, you know the history of the player, so you kind of like, I want to give him the carries because of the explosiveness that he does possess. If he does, like you said, Mo, hits the hole and just goes. You got the speed to burn people.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't do that all the time. Sometimes he second guesses and he's more like cutesy with the ball. I don't think he
Mm-hmm.
has the same ability to go wide that he does when he's going straight line. I think he has significantly more straight line speed. So I
Yeah,
think
I
something for
can see
him to
that.
work on is maybe figuring out a way to be able to turn that corner, get that speed going a little early and turn that corner. Because if he can turn that corner like on a sweep, like an off tackle run, things like that, if he can get himself a little bit more speed in those plays, oh boy, you're going to put yourself in a position where you're going to be somebody that we're going to want to keep. Now, I know we're just talking about him real quick, but y'all said a lot of things about him, so real true. I think I want to talk about Jason Huntley. We can go back and talk about Gainwell and Scott, but I want to talk about Jason Huntley. Jason Huntley is small and Jason Huntley is freaking fast. Okay. You may or may not remember he played a couple of games last year, only got a few carries, but all those carries were big carries. Even if he didn't get far, you could see the speed. If he gets the ball and you give him a hole and you throw Huntley in there, that could go to the house just as quick as it could, maybe even quicker than Miles Sanders. So I think one of the things we want to look at is situational football this year. If we keep Huntley, or if we have him on the practice squad, somebody gets hurt, whatever the situation is, I think you want to try to scheme plays to work to his strengths. Again, another north-south guy, but I think he has the east-west speed as well. He just doesn't have the
Mm-hmm.
body. So if he gets in there, I think he can run all the plays, but it's feast or famine. If they hit him in the backfield, he's going down. If he can break it, it could be a big play every time. So I think that's that guy. To you guys' point about adding a big running back, I see no flaws in that. Only thing I'd add to that is I think maybe the big back that they're looking for is going to be somebody that ends up cut. Because I think if we look around the league, we're going to see teams that have more than one big back. And when time comes for cuts, I think we'll be able to go out there and find a guy that we may be able to pull in to be that thunder to lightning that we have now.
Yeah, I think it's needed. I don't know what their
Yeah.
fascination has been with these smaller, elusive backs. I mean,
Right.
we have like 3 or 4 of them on the roster already. Like we need at least 1 or 2, experiment as far as power backs go. I think that's all you would need to fill out that run game. That way, you don't have to have Miles Sanders be that every down dude.
Right.
And you're not replacing him with a guy that's pretty much just like him at that, at that point. You're giving the defense on the other team something else.
Very, very, very good point, sir. Very good point. You definitely got to be able to switch it up. Um, I think we're going to get that guy. I hope we're going to get that guy. If we do, then we're going to be in a very good situation with the running backs. To touch on Boston Scott and Gainwell real quick, Boston Scott is a guy that you always want to have. He's got to be a top 3 back on your team. I can see him being pushed back if we were to get a power back. He would probably be the one most impacted by carries. But if you put Scott in games, man, he doesn't have the speed of the other guys. But if you put him in game situation with the pass on, he's almost as fast. And he's got some power behind him for a little guy, too. And he's one of
not
those
real
guys,
exciting for some reason. He's not real exciting to watch, but he gets the job done. I'll tell you that.
And man, I've seen times where he's so short coming out before he stands up that he's at the guy's butt level. So he can literally run
he just
like on
ducks
somebody's
underneath
butt cheek and he just take off. You know what I'm saying?
He's like so tiny and elusive, man. That's what works.
Where'd he go?
It's hard. It's harder for people to grab hold of him.
He's like Darren Sproles was for us, a couple of years ago. He's that type of player. So you got to have that. But I do agree. I think if we don't get a full season out of Saunders this year, I think we're going to see Gainwell have that opportunity, which would also bump Boston Scott up if he decides to stay with us next year. He's on a 1-year deal now. But I just think that Gainwell is a younger, not as injured version of Miles Sanders at this point. I think he's a little bit further along than Sanders was in year 2, but he's got a chance to get more carries. Problem with him that concerns me is drops and fumbles. So I need him to get better at that. Sanders was bad at that a couple of years ago. Sanders, you have got to get in the end zone, bro. You have got to get touchdowns.
Please.
We can't have another season where we have a running back almost run for 1,000 yards and can't even get in the end zone. You got to get in the end zone where you got to break those big runs. I don't know, but you got to make it happen. For me, I want Sanders to be the guy. I like Sanders. I want him to be the guy. But if he can't do it, he can't do it. He's got to show
I feel the same
and
way.
Jalen Hurts. These are prove-it seasons for those two gentlemen. We need it.
We didn't even mention our 6th running back on the depth chart, Mr. Hurts. Because he's definitely going to be part of the running game too. Not
we don't have to mention him as a running back. Because he is dual threat.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. He out here breaking people's ankles, and I love it. I love every second of it. But to go back with like Kenny Gainwell a little bit, I don't think anybody. I mean, I didn't expect him to really be doing much last year in his rookie year, but man, they were using him from week 1, and I think overall, like you mentioned, he did have some drops. He had some fumbles, but overall, I thought he had a pretty great season. He exceeded expectations. He was getting touchdowns. He's getting big yardage plays. He's being very serviceable. And I think if they have to use him in a bigger role, I think it would work. They would just kind of have to get him adjusted to that role.
But he got some valuable experience and time last year. Like you say, it's just you can't replace that just by with practice or with Miles Sanders. So we'll see.
And I mean, if Sanders doesn't work out, Howie's cool with drafting some of these actual top prospects now. Go out and get a damn running back one of these years in the draft. Get a top level running back or something that can be that every down back for you if you have to.
Right.
I don't know why you all of a sudden wanted to start drafting some of these top teams' talent all of a sudden, but hey, if you're going to do it right.
Right.
Now, Kennedy Brooks, big thing to point out about him. He's the 5th guy on the depth chart. He's from Oklahoma. He played with Jalen Hurts.
I've only seen a little bit from him.
He's 5'11", 213 pounds. And he could run in college. He's a bruiser in college. He's solid.
Yeah.
He can make it happen. So he may be a guy to fill that role once we get into the season, like you were saying. But that instant connection with Jalen Hurts never hurts out of the backfield.
Right.
And he's got it from their year at Oklahoma together, just like Devontae Smith has it from their time at Alabama together. We talk about Hurts a lot, obviously the quarterback. But one of the things I think that we don't discuss is this man played for 2 completely different systems in college and was successful in both systems. Would have won a Heisman probably if it wasn't for that guy at LSU named Joe Burrow. So we're looking at Hurts, man. He's a lot more than people want to give him credit for. It's easy if you're a Wentz sexual and you love Wentz so much that you just get mad about anybody that's not Wentz being on the team. We're going to address you, Wentz sexuals, later in the season. But for now, I just have one thing that I want to say to all the Wentz
You
sexuals.
know your damn role and shut your damn mouth.
I wish you can get like. I wish you can get Carson Wentz's face on that dude just sitting there looking at that rock there at the very end, just like what?
So I
Man,
like
that's
to have it
hilarious.
multi-purpose so I can use it whenever. But trust
Man,
me,
I feel
it's
like you
always
have to
going to
be
be
like
used.
anybody that's following Eagles stuff, Eagles content, and just the team in general. You just get a whole different feeling within that team and locker room with Hurts than you did with Wentz, man. It just feels like
Yeah.
it's actually one cohesive unit, that they are family in that locker room. You can feel the chemistry where you weren't really getting that. It seemed like with Wentz, he was kind of like the outcast in that locker room. He wasn't that
Mhm.
leader of the dudes like how Hurts is. He's really taken a hold of that team.
He's just one of the guys. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Like he's just one of the guys. Like there were times where I saw videos of Wentz and he's like, "Ah, coach, are we almost done? I want to go hunting."
You guys like hunting? Nah, man.
You guys want to kill some deer? Yeah, but yeah, I agree with that, man. He just, it's not that you're different because you could be different, but you got to really have that leadership quality. Like you got to have that
Yeah.
quality where you just say, let's find things that everybody likes to do or most people are okay with doing. Let's hang out a little bit. If it's always got to be workouts, it's always got to be workouts. If it's got to be film, you know, whatever. But finding that medium, finding that place where you can kind of meet your teammates and just be one of the guys.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
if
I
Don't
mean,
you
be
look
let
at Nick
us,
standing around
Foles.
looking goofy while everybody's looking at you.
yeah,
Look at Nick Foles. Even him in the locker room, man. Everybody rallied around him. Like
Yeah.
he was loved in that locker room. I
I
mean,
will say to defend Nick Foles, and I've had my share of things to say about Nick Foles, but what I will say is I think we win back to back Super Bowls if Alshon Jeffrey doesn't drop that pass.
I agree, man. It was
Yeah.
If
happening.
Jeffrey makes that cash, I think we're going back and we're going to have Foles mania one more time. And I don't think Wentz gets that contract. And I think we are
Right.
sitting in a different place right now. Maybe even with Foles as a starter for a year, which would have been bad. But
Yeah.
I would have took it for two Super Bowls. I truly believe, had Alshon Jeffrey not dropped that catch, we win a Super Bowl that year. And you
Yeah, because
cannot tell
we
me
had the Rams
anything different.
number for a couple years in a row there.
Yeah.
Every
You can't
time we
tell me
played the
anything
Rams,
different.
we had their number. So it was going to be no different in that next game, and we would have been having another rematch against the Patriots and Tom Brady, and Nick Foles would have done it again. It would have been great,
Done it
man. I would have.
again.
If
It would
Nick
have been great.
Foles would have beat Tom Brady twice, bruh, and
Oh
then he
yeah.
lost twice to
Tom
Eli,
Brady would have retired.
that would have been
Yeah.
We
We
wouldn't
great.
would
see
probably
it.
be retired by now. You're
That
absolutely
would have
right.
been great. Didn't quite
Nick
happen, but
Foles would
hey,
have retired him too.
No.
we could all
Or
dream,
he
right?
went
We
to the
could
Bucks a
all
year
dream.
earlier or something.
I can see Brady waking up in cold sweats like Nick.
Nick, no.
Tricky Nicky.
Get that thing away from me, Nick. It's too big.
Deflated.
Oh man.
Oh man.
It was
Oh
great.
man. I can't with y'all, man. I can't with y'all sometimes. But we got to get back to that last game for the week that we're going to be covering.
Yeah, buddy.
Wyatt, I
This one
think
it
you're
gets
ready
good.
for this, sir. I think you're
Oh
ready for
man,
this one, Wyatt.
I feel like we've all been waiting for this one because this was probably the best, our favorite game of the season right here, man. This was the ass whooping we've been waiting for, and we just took it all out. These past couple games that we had to deal with, we took it all out on the Lions, and we didn't even allow them to get into the red zone until like the fourth quarter. They got a touchdown. So I mean, everything went right. Offensively, defensively, we were doing whatever we wanted. Slay had a fumble recovery for a touchdown. It was all clicking. The run game, the pass game, just everything in general. The defensive line was putting pressure on Golf, getting like 5 sacks in that game. It was great.
Yeah, great overall effort from everybody. It was the Lions. I
It was
know,
the
but guess
Lions.
what?
Yeah.
Like you said, it was that ass whooping that we have been waiting for. We deserved it. We were hungry. We shouldn't have lost the week before. Like, get a W, please. I think what were we 2 and something coming into the game,
2-4,
2-4.
2-5, something
Yeah.
like
Oh
that. Yeah.
man, we needed that, and we needed to win in that fashion too. Like if you come in there and we win by 3 points, it's not the same. What we put up like 40, 44, something again.
44.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll take
44
that.
to
I'll take
6.
that any week. Yeah.
Yeah. And
So
you know, the
people were
best part
praising.
of this game was there's a lot of things that happened in this game, but I want y'all to the best part of this game. Jalen Hurts was 9 of 14 for 103 yards before he left the game. Gardner Minshew was 2 for 2 for 11 yards. You know
Yeah.
what happened? Jalen Hurts had 7 carries for 71 yards. Boston Scott had 12 carries for 60 yards. Jordan Howard had 12 carries for 57 yards. Kenneth Gainwell had 13 carries for 27 yards. Rieger
Run the
had 2 for
ball down
21.
their throat.
We ran the ball 40 plus times in this game.
Yeah.
That
Like you
was
said,
the difference.
Boston Scott and Jordan Howard both had 2 touchdowns, I believe, in this game.
Yes, they did. You are correct.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's that tandem we were talking about that could work really well.
Mm-hmm.
That's smash mouth football. That's what you need to win playoff games and games where you are the better team, right? You don't go out there and have the quarterback throw 40 times, a young quarterback against a subpar defense. Run the ball down their throats, blow them out the holes, and get this game over with. That's
Yeah.
what you're
And
supposed
that
to
opens
do.
up the pass game, and then that's where you saw these big plays to Goddard, Smith,
Yep.
even
Yep.
Rager at times had some big plays.
We only had, like in this game, Goddard had 6 catches for 72 yards. Watkins had 2 for 18. Devontae Smith had 1 for 15. Jake Stoll had 1 for 9. Rigger had a catch for near yards. That was it.
Yeah.
I think
Like,
we didn't
Rieger
have
we
to
carried
did
the
do it.
not.
ball once or twice, didn't he? Didn't he come out of the
He had
backfield
2
like
carries.
twice?
He had 2
Yeah.
carries. We had 11 receptions in this game, and we won 44 to 6. That's, I mean,
And you're not gonna do that
the
every week either, where that few passes. But like you say, if you can get close to 50-50 or even be a little run heavy, I'm fine with that.
the psychology of football is simple. We're better than you, and you know it, and we know it. So we're gonna come out here, and we are going to beat you down. We're not gonna play with you. We're not gonna give you an opportunity. We're not gonna allow you to feel like you can win this game. And see, this is what we need to do more against better teams. I think we will moving forward, but I think, truthfully speaking, you don't want to be the team that spanks all the bad teams and then can't beat the better teams, right?
Yeah.
But you don't want to be the team that can't beat the better teams and can barely win or lose to the not good teams. You
Right.
have to go out here, games like this that you're supposed to win. You have to assert your will and show people that we're not playing. We're here, and we're here to punch you in the mouth, kick you in the throat, elbow you in the forehead, and uppercut you in the gut. And that's what we were able to do to the Lions. I understand they're a rebuilding team. It's going to take them some time, but they're still an NFL team. They lined up across the field, and we gave it to them. Finally, we gave it to somebody. And I have to
Yeah.
agree with Wyatt, man. Watching that game, that was probably my favorite week, right? Because I'm just watching, I'm like, just spread it down there.
Score again.
Then my boy's a Lions fan, so he's messaging me like, bro, you wrong for that. Then brother's a Lions fan. He's like, man, I knew this was gonna happen. And I'm like, I was hoping it was too. Oh, I was like,
Yeah, the Lions knew it too. Okay.
yeah.
Oh, it's gonna happen
Coach
again.
definitely knew
Week
it.
1.
Week 1.
Week 1 is gonna happen again. So anybody watching, this is a preview. What's gonna happen again? Except just they're gonna probably get in
It's
AJ
gonna be
Brown,
worse.
Devontae, a little bit more action.
Yeah.
Listen, man. If we don't go out there and assert our will against this Lions team, I'm going to be very upset on our show the Wednesday after the first week of the season. If I'm not on here, if we're not on here talking about 40, at least like 30 to like 10,
Yeah, 30 plus. Yeah.
you know, 30 plus, and they got 10 or less. If we're not up here talking about that, man, I'm going to be an upset Eagles fan.
Yeah.
because
Yeah, a
I'm
few
gonna be
sacks, somebody get a
concerned.
few sacks, a turnover, all of
I'm
that.
gonna be
I want to see
concerned
the
on how
whole
we're gonna
effort.
play the rest of the season if we can't go out here and repeat the performance from last year or close to it against this Lions team. That's all I'm saying. The points maybe not the same because we may be so far ahead that we say, you know what, man, let's just start getting people out of here. Let's not get any
Hmm.
injuries. I want to be like the Falcons we were against the Falcons week one, and also incorporate that with how we were against the Lions when we played them last year. I want that mixture. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I want some points.
Yeah,
I want to feel like whoever I got as an Eagles player week one on my fantasy squad, that they get me out the hole. That's what I want.
It's not gonna matter. Yeah, don't matter. As long as you have an Eagles player, they're gonna be getting you points.
yeah.
That's what I want. That's what I like. That's what I need.
And I
So
need to see the defense shut them down. I don't want to see, 30 to
right,
28. I don't see how
man,
they should put up 28 points.
listen. If
Yeah, because this
they
defense is better than last year's defense
if they put
already.
up 28
Right.
points against these two corners, we got a problem. You know what I'm saying? We got a problem.
Yeah.
Like you gonna see me start the whole like, what's going on with the defensive coordinator? What is you doing? What's your job? Where have you been?
Yeah.
What are you
Then
seeing?
you know
Because
it's
it's
the
clearly not what
defensive
you're supposed to be
coordinator's
seeing.
problem.
Yeah. So I'm just excited, man. It's week one. We got to get it done. This season coming up. We talking about last season. We talking about the different positions, but we got to get it done. This year coming up, this is a big season. My biggest concern with the Philadelphia Eagles franchise is that no one goes in the dream team mode. No dream team mess.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If anything, call yourself the redeem team. Do
Right.
not call yourselves the dream team. Do not have
Yeah.
that mindset. We got spanked in the playoffs by the Bucks. We need to see them again, and we need to punch them in the face, put hands and feet on them, elbow them in the gut, uppercut them in the jaw, get them a couple of hurricane runners, and all that. A curb stomp, everything.
Yeah.
Last ride, all that. You know what I'm saying?
Bring
A
the dog
spear, a
masks back
gore,
out.
everything. Like we need to attack. Like our whole mind state needs to be we're gonna get better and we're gonna attack every week. Philly, man, this should be our season. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna sit here and call a Super Bowl number. This should be our season. We should walk out every game feeling like we got something to
I
prove
am.
because people think we're gonna do it, and we need to prove them right. That's
Yeah.
what we
And
need
there's
from this
so
team
many
this year.
seasons that I can look back on where we would come out, start slow. We're playing from behind. Don't want to see that so much this year. I
Mhm.
think
Yeah.
we got the personnel to come out and really, like you say, put the hammer down on people, step on their throat, and keep it moving. So where you are coming into the fourth quarter and you can rest the Sanders and and some of these guys that are injury prone, and still win the game, by a healthy margin. No more playing from behind. It gets on my nerves. It's
I
too
hate it too,
stressful.
man. I hate being a second half team. You're like, oh, it's
Yeah.
all right. We always get together in
Why
the
can't
third
we
and
be a
fourth
whole
quarter. Don't
game
worry.
team? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So next week we are going to be talking cornerbacks.
Oh,
Ooh.
Yeah,
okay.
it's time to get into it a little bit. So you see the replay, watching this live next week, we're going to be talking cornerbacks. What that means is we're going to be breaking down one of the premier defensive positions that we're going to need to stand up well and play well for us to have a chance. So I'm going to tell everybody a secret who doesn't know. If your quarterbacks are not good, you're not going to go far. One of the
Nope.
reasons, even with Hurts up and down season last year, that we didn't go any further than we did. Steven Nelson, man, I love the guy. I appreciate what he brought. He did the best that he could. He's only such a player, right? He's not a superstar player. He's not, you know, what we have now. But he did his best. But when you can target wherever he's at, that's a problem,
And everybody
right?
trying to air the ball out these days. So,
Mhm.
you got to have some corners that are going to be
Your
proficient.
three top corners have to be solid, and you got to have a fourth corner. Now, Philadelphia made a big mistake years ago, and I said it all then. You can go back and look on the play call of the show. I said it. Rasul Douglas needs to stay in Philadelphia. He's
Said
the
the same
truth.
thing.
We did not keep him, and now Green Bay has him.
Hmm.
There's something about when you see a young player come out, make mistakes, but not be afraid to step in and be the number one corner. That's what he did. And then we put him back on the bench and said, "I'll just go sit around the bench. We'll play you if we need you."
Had Ronald Darby out there. Burnt toast out here.
Part 3, because don't forget, Burnt Toast Part 1 is Nnamdi Asomugha.
Oh yeah,
That
true.
dude, oh my goodness. We ain't even gonna get into that. That's a whole nother show. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
Sidney
saying?
Jones, who ended up doing better than he was on the Eagles with like the Panthers, and was he on the Jags for a minute too?
Yeah, he's on the Jags. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to give young guys a chance. My biggest concern, and hopefully the players that are there and the new coaching staff will make the change. We don't develop wide receivers and cornerbacks well as an organization. And that's
Yeah.
scary because that's two very premier positions.
Mhm.
Yeah,
we
you
have
pretty
to
much have to be
develop.
ready if you come into Philly. You have to be already a made man.
Right.
Yeah. Now, hopefully, with the corners we have, Bradbury, Slay, McPherson's a young guy that's out there. We got some guys. So hopefully, they're going to help the young guys, be better to step in if needed, and they can learn by watching and by having those guys out there to coach them. One more thing. I know we're at an hour, but one more thing. AJ Brown, I saw your press conferences too. I want to say to AJ Brown, I love this dude. I love you, man. What I love the most about him is his willingness to say, I go and I tell Smitty, hey bro, you need to do this instead of this. You know what I'm saying? Break this way, do this, speed up a little bit, slow down. He's willing to take the guy that's gonna probably eclipse him in the next year or two in importance on the team just because of the focus, right? And he's willing to help him, mentor him, because he knows for the next 4 years they're gonna be playing together. I
Mhm.
love the fact that he's coming humble, and he said on many occasions, Smitty's the number one. I love it. You
I
can't
love
get
his
that.
energy and excitement for what he
Yeah,
sees too. He
you
seems really
can't.
excited to be here.
Yeah,
You
I like the
can't fake that.
competition between him and Slay too, because he was saying like I went up there, knocked that pass down because he was gonna catch it. And I never hear the end of it if that happened. He was like,
Yeah, you can't fake it, man. You have that dog in you, that desire, and then to also have humbleness as well as being a dog. That's something that's very rare in a player. And again, for the next 3 seasons, Tennessee's my second favorite team. I appreciate them.
I
If you're gonna let us
can't
have
believe we got
that,
AJ Brown, man. That's crazy.
if you're
I
gonna let
still
us have
can't
that,
believe it.
man, so much love for you. So Mo, tell the people where they can see you, where they can find you.
Oh, you can see me on right here on the Elite Podcast, Eagles Elite Podcast.
Any type of Twitter, Facebook they can find you at anything?
Yeah, you can find me as Mojo on Facebook, on Twitter, Mr. Mojo 2020. Come see me. And Instagram, Mr. Mojo 2020.
And Wyatt, where can we find you,
Yeah,
man?
man. You can find me at Squad Pod Sports on Twitter and also at Waves 5 Media on YouTube as well. Check out all our content over there.
Definitely. You can find me Friday nights, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. PlayCallerSportsTalk.com. We slide some Eagles in there every once in a while when I can. I sneak a little bit in there. But we talk basketball, football. Got some segments that are coming. It's part of Play Caller Sports Productions, which is also makes it our sister show from here at Eagles Elite, man. But just appreciate everyone who watches, everybody who sees the replays, everyone who subscribes. If you have any ideas for shows, anything you would like for us to talk about, you can go to Facebook. We've got this group. It's called the Eagles Elite Podcast. You can join that, and you can let us know what you want to talk about. Interact with us there. Anything Eagles related. If it's related to the Eagles, we could talk about it on the field, off the field, about the city with the Eagles. But if you come in there talking Sixers, Phillies, Flyers, yo, it's a Eagles group. You know what I'm saying?
Nothing but Eagles.
Nothing but Eagles. And of course, you can catch us here 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Wednesday, except for the week of Thanksgiving and Christmas. We know y'all traveling. Y'all not gonna watch. You know what I'm saying? But every other week,
True.
you're gonna catch us right here. We're gonna be grinding. The show's gonna be improving, and y'all gonna love it.
Yeah, 1 week closer to the season, man.
Oh
Yes,
yeah.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Under 100 days to training camp. Let's go. And I want everybody to know, fly Eagles fly.
Fly Eagles fly.
Fly Eagles fly.
That's it.